A 165-pound Cane Corso named Rocco refuses to let anyone near his baby girl. Not a stranger, not a neighbor, not for a single second. When this couple first brought their daughter home, everyone said the exact same thing. That dog is a monster, get rid of him before the baby gets hurt. A 165-pound Cane Corso, all black muscle and a head like a boulder, standing guard over a newborn. The neighbors called it a tragedy waiting to happen. 40 different people told them to rehome him. 40. And then, on an ordinary afternoon in a downtown park, when a strange dog came across the grass at a dead run straight toward that baby, the monster everyone feared did the one thing that proved every single one of them wrong. This is the story of how the most feared dog on the whole street became the only reason a little girl was not hurt that day. Bianca and Julian Reyes lived in a small house near the water in Sarasota, Florida, a few blocks off Main Street. Julian ran a landscaping crew. Bianca was expecting their first child, and 2 years before that baby ever arrived, they had brought home a black Cane Corso puppy with paws too big for his legs and a wrinkled, worried face like a tiny old man. They named him Rocco. By the time he turned 2, Rocco weighed 165 pounds, a wall of dark muscle that filled the doorway and blocked out the light. And he was, by every single measure, the gentlest creature either of them had ever known. Then Bianca got pregnant, and everything changed. Not with Rocco, with everyone else. Her mother called first. "You cannot keep a dog that size around a newborn," she said. Her sister mailed her articles about dog attacks, with the frightening parts highlighted in yellow. A neighbor named Doug, who had never once spoken to them kindly, suddenly had opinions about that kind of dog around a baby. Even the pediatrician raised an eyebrow. The pressure built for 9 straight months, but Bianca had watched the way Rocco had started sleeping across the doorway of the empty nursery weeks before there was ever a baby inside it, and she made her decision. Rocco stays. I see you're still here but haven't subscribed yet. After what Rocco is about to do for this little girl, you'll want to be part of it. Tap subscribe. It means more than you know. They brought Poppy home on a warm morning in April. Julian carried the car seat through the front door with his heart pounding, not because of the baby, but because of the dog. Rocco walked over slowly. He did not jump, he did not bark. He lowered his enormous head until his nose was barely an inch from the blanket, breathed in once, long and slow, and then did something that made Bianca cry on the spot. He lay down on the floor beside that car seat, let out a long, low sigh, and would not move for the rest of the night. And from that morning forward, Rocco had exactly one job in the world, and her name was Poppy. But it was not the way he loved her that made the neighbors nervous. It was the way he guarded her. Rocco would not let anyone near that baby he had not personally approved. When Bianca's own mother reached into the bassinet, Rocco slid his huge body between them, not growling, just there, watching, until Bianca said it was okay. He learned the difference between the people who lived in that house and everyone else in about a day, and to everyone else, the answer was the same. You may look, you may not touch. He invented rules the whole family had to learn. Rule 1, Poppy did not sleep alone, ever. Rocco lay across the nursery doorway every single night, facing the crib. Rule 2, feeding time was sacred, and he sat beside that high chair at every meal, catching whatever fell before it hit the floor. Rule 3, and this one made Julian laugh. Rocco insisted on inspecting every stroller, every shopping cart, every lap the baby was set down on, like a very large, very serious security guard. Bianca thought it was a little much. She would find out one day exactly how much it mattered. There was one more thing the neighbors whispered about most. On walks, Rocco positioned himself with a bodyguard's precision, always between Poppy's stroller and the open side of the sidewalk. If another dog approached, he did not lunge and he did not bark. He simply stepped into the space between it and the baby and stood there, still and enormous, until it had passed. Bianca thought he was just being protective. She did not yet understand that Rocco was rehearsing for something. The months passed and Poppy grew from a tiny bundle into a giggling, round-cheeked little person who, at 8 months, had just learned to sit up on her own. Her favorite thing in the entire world was Rocco. She would grab 2 fistfuls of his loose jowls and pull, and 165 pounds of Cane Corso would simply close his eyes and let her. Her first clear sound was not mama, it was not dada, it was a delighted shriek she made every single morning the second she saw him. At night, long after the house went quiet, Bianca would sometimes check on Poppy and find the same picture: her daughter asleep in the crib and a huge black shape stretched across the doorway, head up, ears turned toward every sound. She stopped bothering with the baby monitor after a while. She had something better, and it weighed 165 pounds. But outside that house, the fear never went away. At the park, parents pulled their children back the moment they saw a Cane Corso coming. Doug still crossed to the other side of the street. A woman once asked Bianca to her face whether she thought it was safe to let a monster like that so close to a defenseless baby. Bianca just smiled and kept walking, because she knew something all of them did not. She knew that the single safest place in all of Sarasota was the patch of ground directly beneath that dog. Then came a Saturday in October. Bianca had taken Poppy down to the little park off Main Street, the one with the fountain and the wide green lawn. And Rocco, as always, lay beside the blanket where the baby sat propped against a pillow in the autumn sun. It was a perfect afternoon. And then, from across the park, a dog got loose. It was a big dog that had slipped its owner, and something about it was wrong. Its head low, its body coiled, and it locked onto the smallest, lowest thing on that lawn, a baby sitting alone on a blanket, and it came at a dead run. Bianca was 6 feet away, reaching for a bottle in the diaper bag. She turned at the sound and saw it coming and knew with a mother's cold and total certainty that she was too far, that she would never reach Poppy in time. But Rocco was already moving. The same dog the whole street had called a monster. The same dog 40 people had begged them to rehome. The same 165-pound Cane Corso every one of them had sworn would one day hurt that baby, exploded off that blanket and met the charging stray head-on, a full body length in front of Poppy, and put every ounce of himself between the danger and his girl. There was a snarl and a scramble and a terrible tangle of noise. The stray broke, yelped, and ran, tail down, back the way it had come, and Rocco did not chase it. It was over in under 5 seconds, faster than anyone on that lawn could even shout. He turned and went straight to Poppy, who had not been touched, blinking in the sun and starting to fuss at the noise, and stood over her, chest heaving, a fresh gash on his shoulder, and would not move. Bianca reached them a heartbeat later, dropped to her knees and pulled her unharmed daughter into her arms, sobbing, while 165 pounds of Cane Corso pressed his bleeding shoulder against them both, eyes still on the far side of the park. The truth that stunned everyone who heard it was this: the dog the whole neighborhood had been afraid of, the monster they were sure would hurt that baby, was the only thing on that lawn fast and fearless enough to save her from a dog that actually meant her harm. Later, a man on a nearby bench told Bianca he had watched the whole thing, and that in 60 years he had never seen an animal move that fast to put itself in harm's way on purpose. A vet closed the gash on Rocco's shoulder with 8 stitches that evening. He never once whimpered. And Bianca knew with a certainty she will carry for the rest of her life that if she had listened to those 40 people, if she had rehomed the dog everyone feared, that Saturday afternoon in the park would have ended in the worst way a story can end. Instead, it ended with a very tired Cane Corso getting a steak he did not have to share, and a little girl who will never know how close she came, asleep that night with one hand curled into his fur. Word spread through the neighborhood the way news like that always does. The woman from the park who had called him a monster left a card in the mailbox. Doug, the neighbor who had crossed the street for 2 whole years, knocked on the door, looked down at Rocco a long moment, and said quietly, "I was wrong about him." Rocco accepted a single scratch from the man, then turned right back around to find Poppy. Today, Rocco is 4 years old, and Poppy is 2. He still has a faint scar on his shoulder, and he still will not let anyone near that little girl he has not approved. He still lies across her doorway every single night, and every time a stranger leans too close to Poppy, 165 pounds of Cane Corso slides quietly into the space between them and waits, calm as ever until he decides they are safe. And the 40 people who swore they should get rid of him have all gone very quiet, because here is the simple truth every one of them missed. A dog is not a monster because of his size or his breed or the heavy black shape of his head. What makes a dog is who he decides to protect and exactly what he is willing to do to keep them safe. Rocco decided on the very first morning that a tiny girl in a pink blanket was his to guard, and when real danger came for her across that park, he was the only one fast enough to stand in its way. If you are thinking about bringing a big, powerful dog into a home with a child, please do not listen to the fear. Learn the breed, train with patience, supervise with love, and understand that the right dog raised the right way is not a danger to your child. Sometimes he is the guardian angel you never knew you needed, wearing a face the whole world taught you to fear. So let me ask you honestly, would you have trusted a 165-pound Cane Corso alone with your baby? Or would you have listened to those 40 people and let him go? Tell me in the comments.